Hi guys, it's April and I garden down in southeast Nebraska, zone 5B. I have several books that I have collected over this year about gardening and preserving that I figured I'd show you and talk about. I normally do this kind of haul video over on my other channel, but I figured that this might actually be kind of interesting to some of you guys here. I will note that while I have picked up all of these books this year, some of them I haven't actually gone all the way through. A lot of them I have, but there are some of them that I haven't gotten a chance to, and since it is now the down season of the garden, my plan is to go through these books and pick up a few new things that I want to possibly do for next year's garden. So the first book I have is The Complete Gardener's Guide. This is the new edition. This is one of the books that I haven't actually made my way through yet because it is a big chunker. But this is just a generic gardening guide. It has a lot of different plants. It's not just annuals, it's perennials. And from what I have been seeing, it's like, it's not necessarily encyclopedic, but it has a lot of information packed really tightly. So you can kind of see, it shows like the growing season, it shows like the growing pattern, and then it has ways for picking and storing and thinning and maintaining. So I thought this would be a good one to pick up and go through this winter when I have my downtime and start thinking about how I want to maybe change some of my methodologies while maintaining the garden. The next book I picked up is The Vegetable Grower's Handbook by Hugh Richards. He has a YouTube channel and he was talking about this book, so I figured it would be a good one to pick up. I did like this one. I mostly really like the layout of this because it has room in the side for me to make notes. And I love books that have room in the side for me to make notes. And it also has things like growing timelines and other stuff like that. And I always find those really super helpful. So if you're just wanting to pick up some new information about growing vegetables in a pretty condensed way, this book. The next book is from another YouTuber, and that's Companion Plants for Beginners. This is by Brian Lowell. I have been digging in a little bit more about companion planting and how I want to not necessarily group all things together. I want to interplant and what makes sense for interplanting. As you can see, I have marked the sucker up. This is pretty nicely laid out. I don't have a lot of complaints about it, plus it's got some nice pictures for you to do some comparisons, especially for things like blight and other pests and diseases that you might be concerned about. So this was a good read. On the same realms of companion planting, I picked up Vegetables Loves Flowers. This is by Lisa Mason Ziegler. I haven't gotten through this one yet. As you can tell, I haven't marked it up. Plan is to do this one next. I have those basic standard flowers in my garden. I have calendula, I have nasturtiums, I have marigolds, those kind of common trap pest plants. But I wanted to dig a little more into maybe what other flowers make sense, maybe the ones to bring in pollinators, not necessarily to keep pests away, but to bring in some of those beneficial animals. So this is one that I have heard about several times on YouTube and various other places, so I thought it would be a good one to pick up and try. I just got this book recently, and I've been super excited about this one because there is a point in the harvest season where you really have to start thinking about how you're going to preserve what you're bringing in, because a lot of times there's just so much coming in and you don't want to lose it. So these next couple books are all about preserving, and I'm starting to get into that heavy preserving mindset. And Melissa K. Norris just released this one. This is Everything Worth Preserving. As you can see, I have gone through this one and I've marked the heck out of it. I do like the way she has this laid out. She talks about the different methods of preserving, and then here and there she'll give recipes. Towards the back, there is a more condensed list of all the different things you might be considering preserving and the different ways you can preserve them. A lot of them aren't necessarily giving you preservation recipes, but they'll tell you how long it takes to like pressure can them, or if they can be water bath them. Then if maybe this is something that can be put into a oil infusion or things like that. So this covers freezing, oil, pressure canning, water bath canning, kind of those like standard, and dehydrating as well. So this is nice. This is another book that came out this year. It's Freeze Fresh by Crystal Schmidt. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but I found her over on Instagram and she started talking about this book, and I was fascinated because I like the thought of freezing things that would be easy just to pull out really quickly, already in the right portions, and just making a meal out of it. So this is a really nice book for that. It not only tells you the best way to preserve whole ingredients, but it also does some preservation of maybe like meal recipes. So it does a little bit of both, and I like it. I'm also getting on to the fermented train. This is the fermented vegetables. This is by Kristen K. Shockley and Christopher Shockley. I fermented tomatoes for the first time this year, and they were phenomenal. I absolutely love them. So I kind of want to think about doing other things. I have done kimchi before. I did a hot sauce this year, but I want to get into maybe carrots, or I don't even know at this point. But there are a lot of different recipes on not only how to ferment, but what to use those ferments with, which is sometimes the thing I run into is like, okay, yeah, I've got this fermented thing, but how do I use it? I mean, what's the point of preserving it that way if I don't know how to use it in that format? So this is a really good book, and I like it a lot. Then lastly, I'm actually going to show these two books together because they're almost the same book. They're about dehydrating. I've got the Complete Dehydrator's Cookbook. This is by Carol Kanzler. And then I've got the Ultimate Dehydrator's Cookbook. This is by Steve Gangaloff, and September Ferguson. I'm pretty sure I did all of that right. But both of these do a pretty good job covering all the different things that you might want to dehydrate. They give you temperatures, they give you times. I do not have a dehydrator, but I have done some dehydrating in my oven. I might invest in a dehydrator at some point, but part of me, a little bit of me, is holding out for the possibility of a freeze dryer at some point, because all of my animals, they're on freeze dried raw food, and if I could do my own freeze dried raw, that would be perfect. So those are all of the books that I picked up in 2022 pertaining to the garden and preserving the harvest. I do have a couple of other videos that I talk about some books that I read about gardening. I will for sure link those for you if you want to check them out. They're going to be some familiar books, because I mean I don't have Jessica from Roots and Refuge book here, but I absolutely love that book. So I will link those videos if you want maybe a further review of those books. However, I would love to hear what you guys like to pick up when you're gardening. What reference books do you have? I want to hear, because as you can tell, I love books. So any kind of reading, I will do that. Now this is all in preparation for the 2023 garden. If you want to follow me on that adventure as I start the seeds for next season, definitely subscribe down below, because I am going to be setting up my new grow light soon. I'm going to start putting some seeds in some soil. I'm guessing it's probably going to be onions first. Onions or celery. I have to look at my spreadsheet that tells me what I need to do, but that's going to be in about a month from now. But like I said, if you want to follow me on that adventure, subscribe, join me, do all the things to get all of the notifications. And I do hope to see you again next video, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.